Hey everybody, I'm Wizard in Black, and today is going to be my first discussion video, so I hope some of you are able to walk away with some good insight on today's topic, Metroid Prime 4. Now, I'll get this out now. It's not all bad, like some people seem to think, but it's not all great either. Um, Before I get started with my thoughts though, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I don't want to take too long on this though, so maybe I'll do an introduction video at some point in the future. But like I said, I'm Wizard in Black. I'm 30 years old. You'll probably notice me reading a lot since I'm ADHD, and I wrote this about an hour ago, considering the game just came out. Um, some of my hobbies, video games, computers, music, basically anything tech related as well. More relevant to today's discussion is I grew up on Nintendo. I played every Nintendo console between the SNES to the Switch 2. When I was 4 years old, that was the first time that I beat Super Mario World as well as Donkey Kong Country 3. So it's safe to say we go way back. Now, don't think just because I grew up on Nintendo, I'm going to be doing any glazing in this video, because that is absolutely not my intention. I'm going to give my real thoughts. But like I said, there are some good things about this game. So when I do tell my positive experiences, that's not really a glaze. That's just me giving you my honest opinion. Because for any of you guys who are seriously interested in playing this game, I don't want to make you think that this whole thing's a complete shit show and not worth playing, because so far, I don't think that's the case. There are some things, though, that I do want to bring up that really do take away from the experience in this game. Um, so, I'll start with the good. From here, I'm mostly going to go off script. I just have some stuff written down that I did like about the game. So the intro starts off really strong. The cutscene sequence that you get is pretty cool. Um, we've all seen the trailers and everything, so there's not really a whole lot for me to talk about at the intro sequence. The boss fight is pretty good. It's not too easy. It's not very difficult. I think it strikes a pretty good balance for people who are new to the franchise to kind of see what to expect moving forward in the game. I think that they started off really strong. The plot is somewhat intriguing. I'm only about 3 hours into the game, and that is with me trying to scan basically everything I can, doing a lot of exploring, kind of just taking my time and getting a feel for the world. I have gotten to the open world, so I've just gotten past the Vault Forge. I do want to point out there might be some spoilers moving forward, so I'll give you a heads up on that. I'll try to keep it as spoiler free as I can, but just by the nature of the video, I'm going to have to talk about some stuff. So, the enemy variety is pretty good. Stuff that's just kind of okay. The motorcycle is like kind of fun to drive, I guess. Um, by itself, like I don't think it's terrible, but I don't really think it adds any value to the game either. So I mean, I'm kind of neutral on that one. Um, there's a lot of cutscenes at the beginning. There were a couple of times where I was sitting there kind of wishing I could just play the game. It's been a while since I've played Prime 1 through 3. So, you know, maybe there were a lot of cutscenes in those too, and you know, it's just not in my memory right now. But for some reason, it feels like Metroid Prime 4 is very cutscene heavy in the beginning. It's not terrible like some games, but just to keep that in mind. Other things that I think could have been improved on is the naming conventions for the power-ups you get. So we all know from the trailers that in this game, Samus earns psychic abilities. When I first heard about this, to be honest, I was a bit skeptical. To me, psychic powers didn't really seem like something that would make sense for Samus to achieve at any point. Um, but I mean, you know, you have the Luminoth from Prime 2 that, you know, seemingly had some sort of psychic abilities. You got the Chozo, who obviously had some psychic abilities. So, you know, it's not too far-fetched. And so far in playing it, it hasn't been too bad. It's actually been a lot more fun with some of the game mechanics that they've put in related to those psychic abilities. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by that. The naming conventions, though, again, for the power-ups, everything's psychic. So at the beginning, after the intro, you lose all of your equipment like you do in every Prime game. And as you start to collect your items, so far I think I've gotten 3 or 4 of the power-ups, and every single one has been some variation of Psychic X. So the first power-up that I got, what is the first power-up that you get? Wow, I'm totally... Psychic Gloves. So you get Psychic Gloves. It has some new features that aren't like in the previous game, so that one I can kind of like, you know, get behind it. That's fine. But then you go forward and then you get a Psychic Visor. Okay. So you have a Psychic Visor now. And then your next power up, guess what it is? Psychic Boots, which is basically space jump boots. There's a little bit more to it than that. But this is an ongoing pattern that I've noticed, is that the names that they give certain things in this game are not very creative at all. Which, for example, to the bad, it seems like there's going to be some farming in this game. And when this item is introduced to you in the game, you're told that you need to go out and collect green crystals. That's what they're called. Green crystals. They didn't give it a dumb name like Crystallite or fucking, you know, like... They could have named it anything. But they're calling them green crystals. So you gotta go in the world, find these crystals so you can put them in a tree and get some memory fruit or something. I don't know. It's convoluted. It seems weird. But when you're out in the desert, like collecting these green crystals, something about it just kind of gives me like a Ratchet and Clank vibe. I don't really like it. It doesn't fit. It's awkward. It just... Something about it doesn't really vibe with me, and I'll kind of show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. And this video actually will bring us into something else that I want to talk about as well. So here, let's watch this. We've got Samus driving around, found some green crystals. These are the green crystals you have to find. And this is 3 hours into the game, mind you. So anybody who says Miles McKenzie is only in the game for 10 minutes, just wait.
Have you located any of the teleporter keys? If you're not sure where to go next, check the map.
Why? Why do we need that? I got some other videos I want to show you too, but that's 3 hours into the game. Why do we still have this guy in my ear 3 hours into the game telling me what to do? I don't understand it. I don't see the point. He's annoying as hell. His dialogue is god awful. When you first meet him, every room that you go into from then on until he leaves your side, he has something to say. Every single room. He does not shut up. It's ridiculous. Another one I want to show you is when you first get into the Vault Forge, there's actually... Hold on one second. I apologize. So when you get into the Vault Forge, there is a part where you are forced into the map. And Miles gives you this whole like minute-long spiel. This is all recorded off of my Switch, so the video cuts off at the beginning. So this is 30 seconds. So he's already been talking in this video for a little bit, and this whole video is 30 seconds. And he's basically walking you through... Here, let me restart that. So he's basically walking you through exactly what rooms you need to go in, what you need to do, what you need to activate. You gotta activate a generator.
Right down here. To get there, you'll need access to the lower levels. There's an elevator that will take you down. Would you like to hear that again? Oh, and don't forget to stop by the save station. Oh boy, this storm's picking up. You might be on your own from here. Good luck.
And from that video, it makes it seem like Miles is gonna leave you alone now, right? But that's not the case. In like 10 minutes, you continue on, you reactivate power in the facility, and he's immediately back in your ear. So, another thing, let's see. Here, I was kind of curious about how he would kind of fight against enemies. So here in these next couple of videos, I'm just kind of screwing around, kind of seeing how Miles interacts with the enemies. So you'll notice when he goes down, it is incredibly annoying. Like, get it? Gotta help him. Okay, let's help him.
Thank you, Samus.
Not because I wanted to. And then, this, I wanted to see if he could actually kill anything, or if he was just gonna be completely useless. So, and of course, you know, he couldn't just let it go without his quip.
The generator is right.
You know, he just had to say something about it. So that's kind of annoying. Another complaint I kind of have about this game is the exploration does feel kind of restricted. It feels like it's railroading you for like the first hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of this game. Another thing I wanted to point out, this is something that I thought was really interesting. And this clip right here kind of gave me some hope. Because to me, it was a little bit symbolic. It felt like the developers were trying to send a message. So I want you guys to watch this video and tell me what you see here. And this is kind of at the beginning. This is before you meet Miles McKenzie. Oh, here, let me get the volume back on. Okay, so right there. What did that look like? To me, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just, you know, reaching for anything to give me any hope for the future of this game. But to me, what it looks like is we've got a little insect that you got to follow around, and he's literally leaving a paint trail for you. So to me, that wasn't a good sign. It kind of made me worry that this is going to be something that we see a lot in the game. But then right here at the very end, our little paint trail bug gets eaten. They just, you know, take his ass away. There's his little antenna there. To me, that felt like the devs saying, hey, we get it. We're not going to hold your hand through this. We're not going to, you know, railroad you through the game. See, the paint trail bug, we killed it. It's dead. But then immediately after this scene is basically when you meet Miles McKenzie and you go through all of that crap. Now, I'm going to wrap up this video. There's a couple more things I do want to point out, mostly about the green crystals. Another thing I noticed about these green crystals is that once you pick them up, they don't exactly leave the world. You can go around and find them again. So this is me driving around the desert. Like, there's not really a whole lot here. This desert to me is not impressive. This is not fun. And then so those are the green crystals. But as you can see, I didn't collect anything. That's because I already got those green crystals. So throughout this game, this is going to be something we're going to have to collect. It doesn't mention how many of them you need to collect. It doesn't really mention a whole lot at this point. So there we go. Now, there are some problems with the game. It's not all roses. It's not completely terrible either. I say if you're a Metroid fan, it's worth giving it a shot. But don't let anybody tell you that the problems with the game are nothing, because honestly, every time Miles McKenzie opened up his mouth, I wanted to throw my controller at the screen. So, thanks, guys.